Hey guys, welcome back to another video for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and another Marvel video in general. Today I'm going to be ranking all of my main characters in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This isn't every single character in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. These are just all the characters that I think really have a huge impact on the show and actually really mattered. So not going to be every character, just the top 7 that I really think deserve to be mentioned. And I don't want to waste your time, so let's just skip right into the ranking. Coming in last place, number 7, is Carly Morgenthau. Now, I actually did at first like what they were doing with Carly. It seems like as the first early episodes were coming out with her, they wanted to make her seem like some revolutionary and some leader to her people and their cause. And they were actually people that you could get behind in the beginning. Their cause made sense, these people just came back, and then a lot of them were sent out onto the street, kicked out of countries, homes, jobs were taken, kind of mirroring immigration in the modern world. And you can see how they want to push back against that. So Carly's cause actually made sense, and it was actually something that you could get behind supporting. But then as the show went on, they just radicalized her over and over to the point where she literally goes from one scene saying, yeah, well, our cause is messed up, dude, we got kicked out of our homes, we need to fight back. And then she goes to the very next scene, blowing up buildings with innocent people, trapping people in cars, lighting them on fire. And by the end of the show, she really just seemed like some little girl that was in over her head. And you can't really support someone who's, going around murdering people while also claiming to be a just cause. So I think in the beginning they had a good thing with Carly, but as the show went on, it just got worse and worse, and you really couldn't support her. Coming in at number 6 is Sharon Carter, the Power Broker. Now, Sharon, she's really not high on that list because, I don't know, they don't really give you a lot of Sharon. Now, keep in mind, this is not because she is the Power Broker. I have my own problems with that. But Sharon, I like seeing Sharon in this new light, who's some rogue agent. But she's not really in the show a lot until the very last, I think she was the third and the final episode is really where she played a part. And she doesn't really do anything. She's just there to kind of be cool and be the Power Broker. Her being the Power Broker, like I said in other videos, it doesn't really make all that much sense to me, but I'm fine with it if they can just elaborate on it in the future. Sharon was a pretty cool character in Winter Soldier and Civil War, and it's interesting to see them make her into this new villain character, considering her relationship to the whole legacy of Captain America. So that's something that will just going to be really interesting going forward. But she's cool in the show. She's fun to watch on scene. The actress is really good, Emily Van Camp. She's really good at kind of portraying this new jaded, mean Sharon. I mean, it makes sense. She did get kicked out of her country, and then the Avengers just kind of forgot about her. So it kind of does make sense for her to be the Power Broker, but it just kind of contradicts some stuff said in the show. But I did watch the show again, and I did kind of like Sharon. Up until the Power Broker stuff, but that's stuff that can just be further elaborated on. Sharon's pretty good. I think she's better than Carly in the show. But like I said, she doesn't play all that much in the show. She doesn't have a huge role besides being Power Broker, and other than that, there's really not much you can say about her. Coming in at number 5 is Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley was a great character in this show. I honestly should have put him higher, but it's just the way it crumbles. Isaiah's story in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is so tragic and sad, and it's sad because it actually mirrors some stuff that happened in real life, which makes it all the more tragic. His story parallels Steve's uprising, where he went out to save his soldiers when everyone told him no, he shouldn't, those men are forgotten. And when Steve did it, he came back. They praised him a hero. They gave him a standing ovation as he strolled back in the camp with the triumphant music playing. But when Isaiah Bradley goes and does the exact same thing, he's sent to jail for 30 years, kept away from the world, experimented on it, treated like a lab rat, just removed of his basic human rights. It's really sad to see how they treated the white man that became Captain America, and then you see how America and the government treats the black man who did the same thing and was a super soldier, and they just erased his history. And I do love that initial moment with Bucky and Sam where they go to Isaiah. And it's just a surprise to reveal that there was this black super soldier the whole time that was just hidden from the world and nobody knew about. And then when Sam goes back to him, and they actually sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation, you can see the difference between Isaiah, like the older generation, where he's like, "Oh well, why should I help the world? And why would I want to represent America?" Then you see the new generation with Sam, how he's trying to be more hopeful. He's trying to be the change that he really wants to see. So I think Isaiah Bradley was a very great and honestly was a pretty mature character that just the whole show was really like mature, kind of like how Winter Soldier was, and I just really like seeing Marvel and actually like tackle these like serious issues with like racism and the erasure of Black history and culture. So I think they did a fantastic job with Isaiah Bradley, and he's really just a great character all around. Coming in at number 4 is Zemo. Now, I've liked Zemo ever since Civil War. I mean, like, to me, he's one of the best Marvel villains because he's really done what no Marvel villain before has ever been able to do. He split up the entire Avengers. Like, these are the people that defend the Earth from Thanos eventually. He split up the entire Avengers without even throwing a single punch. So I've liked Zemo as a character and as a villain ever since Civil War came out all the way back then. And I really love what they did with him in this new show. They did retcon him a little bit into actually making him a Baron, and he's this more light-hearted character. And it's really cool to see Bucky and Sam, who are just like full, just heroes trying to do the right thing, have this villain that they've both fought on their side, kind of whispering in their ears, saying like, "Hey, Carly's not good. You know, you're gonna have to kill her eventually. She's gonna radicalize and spiral till she's out of control." And in the end, Zemo ends up being right. I like how they have to navigate the criminal city of Madripoor, and they need Zemo as kind of their guide through all that. And it's really interesting to see these heroes have to work on the opposite side of the law with a villain that really split up and hurt a lot of the friends that they've fought with. I do like how in the show they make Zemo kind of more funny and goofy. He's got a lot of humor moments that really just make him an enjoyable character to follow in the show. I really love what they did with Zemo, even the costume designer. I think what they did with Zemo's costume was just amazing. They incorporated his campy comic mask, but also giving him like a rich style so you can tell like, oh yeah, this dude's a Baron, he's rich. So I'm a really big fan of what they did with Demo. I'm pretty sure everyone, not Demo, Zemo, I'm pretty sure everyone's a big fan with how Zemo was portrayed in the show. And I like his resolution with Bucky, like their whole saga that's literally been started since Winter Soldier before Zemo was even introduced, has been a great thing. And they have this nice moment at the Sokovian monument, and they just like kind of go their separate ways, and Bucky kind of like doesn't have to worry about Zemo's name on the list anymore, and Zemo just straight up says goodbye, Bucky, see you later. I'm in the Thunderbolts. So I'm a really big fan of Zemo, and that's why he's at the number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 is Bucky. Now, Bucky, I mean, being one of the title characters of the show, he is really good in this show. I mean, what not to expect? Bucky's really been good in almost like every part of Marvel thing that he's been in. He actually really does like a great job, and honestly, it's just really great casting, which Marvel usually hits the nail on the head with. Bucky's story, it begins so sad in this, with you see like him like hanging out with this old man because he can't face his own past and the guilt that he has over killing this man's son. And you just really, and the first thing you really see of Bucky in the show is you see him as the Winter Soldier when he was still the Winter Soldier, and you can just tell that the Winter Soldier will always be a part of him. He can't really get rid of it, and that's kind of something that he just has to live with instead of trying to bury. Then goes on once he joins Sam. Bucky's dynamic with Sam is really just amazing, and it's already built on top of the fact that both of the actors actually have really good chemistry off the bat. Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie Ever since Bucky first got introduced in Winter Soldier, you can see they've always had really great chemistry behind the scenes, and honestly, when the show was first announced, it kind of seemed like a weird pairing, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But as the show goes on, you can see their dynamic and their comedy, how they both really only met each other through being Steve's right hand man and his friend. They both end up becoming kind of brothers in their own aspect, and it's really nice to see all this stuff. To see with Bucky going to Sam's family, hanging out with in Louisiana with the Wilson family, and even hitting on his sister a little bit. It's all really great and it's really funny. But then with Bucky, you also have his tragic past haunting him, which has always been a thing. Bucky's past always haunting him. You see his a little bit of his relationship with the Wakandans and how, yeah, they did trust him. They even went to the ability to disable his arm, and you can tell how he kind of did betray the Wakandans. And it's easy to forget that Bucky really did stay in Wakanda, that he is the White Wolf. So it's always, I like seeing his dynamic with the Wakandans. It's funny seeing how much he hates John, which is really funny, even though I like John. But Bucky, he's really good in this show. At first, I was thinking he wasn't going to have much to do with Falcon being a character that can fly and do all this crazy sorts of stuff. But Bucky does get his own moments to shine, and he really is really 50% of the show. Coming in at number 2 might be a surprise to some of you, but to some of you it may not be a surprise. This is Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson really is the other half of this show. Bucky may be the peanut butter, but Sam is the jelly, and they all just put it together to make a good Falcon and the Winter Soldier sandwich. But Sam really is like, he really is like the everyman. He's the character that we insert ourselves as. And it's really rare in Marvel and movies just in general, big movies where you just see this black character taking a lead, where he's just not some token character. He's just not some character there so people can be like, oh, there's a black person. Let's get like this because it's diverse. Sam is actually a character that is real, and is one of the Marvel characters that actually blipped and came back. So you can see he didn't have to suffer through the 5 years, so he's still hopeful and optimistic. He still hasn't had that like part of his life taken away from the snap. And the stuff that Sam goes through, just from the lying and just the slight racism, is so real and relatable if you are a black person. And it's just kind of sad to see it, but it's good. I like that it's sad because it's real. It's realistic racism. Like, you can see the cops when they're talking to him. They have their hands on their gun. They keep asking Bucky if, hey, is this man bothering you? And it's just kind of sad to see that, especially with a lot of stuff going on in the real world. But it's real, and it's the stuff that Sam has to face. And like Sam says in his final speech when he is Captain America, yeah, he puts on the stars and stripes. He carries the shield of a country that he doesn't have to fight for. Like, this country, what has the country ever done for him? But he still wears it and he still fights for them. And people will hate him for it just because of the color of his skin. Everything that he do will be over criticized, over analyzed. He'll slip up once and people will be like, oh, see, I knew it. We predicted it. He shouldn't have been Cap. And everyone will just take that wrong thought because of the color of his skin. Sam is actually really good fit for Captain America, because Captain America can't be what he used to be, where he just runs around punching Nazis and he's this non-political figure. No, Captain America in the modern age has to be political, especially with him being a black man. Sam has his own political views. Like, he wants to be a Captain America for everyone. Not a politician Captain America, not a corporate Captain America, not an arm of the government Captain America, just a Captain America for the people. I like his stuff with Bucky, but I also like knowing that he is a family man, and the stuff with his sister shows that he is a caring brother along with a great Avenger. Before this show, Falcon wasn't one of my favorite characters of the MCU. Heck, he wasn't even in the top 10 probably. But after this show and seeing what Anthony Mackie can do with a good cast and a good just show with him, Falcon has elevated. He's probably in that top 10 list of favorite MCU characters. I'm glad that after watching the show that they announced that they are getting a Captain America 4 starring Anthony Mackie, because he is now the Captain America. Sam Wilson is a great character now. That honestly, he was underrated in the beginning. I think he was underrated. There may have been some diehard Falcon fans, but I definitely wasn't one of them. But after the show, I think I am now. So with that being said, let's get on into the number 1. coming in at number 1, I'm sure you guys already know. I already did a video on him. That's pretty much the most popular video on this channel. My number 1 favorite character is John Walker, the tragic hero, the fake Captain America. I think John Walker was the best character in this show because he was the most complex character to me, second only to maybe Sam. John Walker was this guy who was just given the mantle of Captain America. He didn't ask for it. He probably didn't get a choice. The government said, hey, see this shield? You're the new Captain America. Go do what Steve Rogers did. And you can just imagine how much pressure that would be. Just being a normal guy, just some normal soldier. I mean, yeah, you're a pretty good soldier. You got multiple medals of honor. But think, you're just a guy. And you're expected to perform on this level that this superhuman being was, this superhuman who fought next to literal gods and aliens. You have to be that guy. And the government tells you to do one thing as a guy: go and stop these flag smashers, these terrorists as they call them. And that's what John has to do. He has to go stop these terrorists, but also be 100% morally just great character as Steve Rogers was. And then when he goes and does that, the government condemns him, the world condemns him, they toss him aside like trash, take away everything that he's ever worked for. And you can see how that would turn a man rogue. Even he's a man that has to see his best friend murdered right in front of him. And he kills the man responsible. Well, the Nico wasn't even responsible, but he was the one holding John back as his best friend was killed. Imagine if the person who was holding you back and as you got your best friends killed, once you want to take your anger out on the closest person related to their death, John goes so much through pressure, and I don't blame him for taking the super soldier serum. You have to be able to compete. Everyone else takes the serum. Why shouldn't you take the serum? John Walker is good because he isn't a great hero guy, but he's definitely not a villain. He's a great character that honestly it's up to debate whether his actions are justified, whether his actions are good or bad. And in the later episodes you can really see him just start to spiral, but he does get his slight redeeming moment where he does put down his vendetta for a second to be able to save some people. I really love what they did, John Walker. I'm not going to go super in depth because I already did a video on him, so if you want to see that, just go check it out. But John Walker is my favorite character of the show. It might be a little I forgot the word right now. You guys correct me in the comments. But John Walker is my favorite character in the show. I really love everything they did with him. Russell is a really great actor. And the thing is, I don't think I ever saw him was in 21 Jump Street, which is crazy because, or no, I think it was 22 Jump Street, which is crazy because he was really good in that. So yeah, I'm really glad they didn't just kill him off, and I'm glad that he's going to be in future projects, whatever they do with the MCU. But he is my favorite character of the show. Well, there you guys have it. That is my ranking of all the main characters. Really just my favorite characters in the show. Let me know down in the comments below how would you rank this list of characters, or if there's any characters you thought I should have included, maybe I shouldn't have included. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're almost at 50 subs. It'd be a huge milestone for us. But if you can't do that, just be sure to like and watch the video and not subscribe. You don't have to. Just watch the video. That's honestly the best you could do. But yeah, share your thoughts down in the comments below and expect some more content coming in the following weeks. And I'll see you guys next time.